Durek Verrett. I'm soul sexual. More BS from the Narcissist. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. The Netflix series involving fraudulent shaman Durek Verrett and his wife, Princess Marta of Norway, provides another excellent opportunity to see a narcissist in action, and also the parallels between Harry and this one's wife are numerous. It's often the case that the narcissist will utilize sex. This is because sex is a major weapon of seduction. Mostly used by somatic and elite narcissists, but also will be utilized by cerebral and victim. Sex is probably one of the most utilized aspects of the human condition by narcissists. I've written extensively about it in my book, Sex and the Narcissist, and if you want to experience some jaw-dropping moments, I'd recommend that you read that book, which is available on Amazon or in the Knowledge Vault, link in the video description. Narcissists use sex to control, to draw fuel, to access those character traits and residual benefits. Certain narcissists are hypersexualized, having lots of sex with lots of different people because it's their skill, if you will, their superpower that allows them to get to the prime aims. It's also the case that certain narcissists have sexual fluidity as a consequence of their lack of boundary recognition. In effect, it's not so much about the person that they're having sex with, but what it represents to them, i.e., a means by which somebody can be controlled, an appliance that is providing fuel, one that is providing pleasure, which is a residual benefit. Thus, it doesn't matter if the other person is of the same sex, a different sex, or might not even be a human being. The point is that the narcissist is using sex with that appliance to get to the prime aims. And operating with that sense of entitlement and a lack of accountability and the absence of boundary recognition, that means that the narcissist will often engage in sexual encounters which would cause other people to shake their heads and raise their eyebrows. It's also the case that as a consequence of the grandiosity of the narcissist, combined with their magical thinking, the deluded mindset that causes them to believe that they are special, that we get treated to bizarre concepts. We've seen, perhaps more and more in recent years, some of the particularly ridiculous ideas that have been circulating the globe. And often, though not exclusively, these are generated by the thinking of narcissists. That because the narcissist regards themselves as special, that because the narcissist subconsciously believes that everybody around them ought to admire them and praise them and notice them and acknowledge them and react to them, they believe that whatever they have to say is hugely important. It also means that because the narcissism operates a delusion for them, that they have a different take on reality. They see it through an alternative perspective, which results in them often having some rather unusual ideas about certain things, which they think are groundbreaking. It results in strange philosophies, unusual concepts, odd language, unusual characteristics that they, as a consequence of their determination and often their ability to seize a platform, thus pump into the mainstream. And in some instances, these ridiculous behaviours start to gain traction and become something which are adopted by other people who are not necessarily narcissists themselves. Some of the more out there ideas invariably come from the deluded, grandiose minds of narcissists, which, with their ability to gain a platform, they pump out there, causing other people to think, actually, that sounds rather interesting. And in some instances, people are taken in by it because of the sheer force of personality or charisma of the narcissist. This is why certain teachings that come from cults, which are invariably led by narcissists, end up with believers and followers. There are plenty of naive and gullible people who are susceptible to the control tactics of that narcissist. And we're going to see another example originating from the Royal Rebel series as Durek Verrett sits talking to camera, exhibiting various facets of his narcissism. Let's have a watch.
It's not easy being the first black man marrying into the European royal family, and I'm the first. I thought maybe I'm gonna end up with a man, but I decided that I'm soul sexual. I'm attracted to the soul of the person. I don't see myself as straight or gay. Doesn't matter if it's a male or a female, or it could be another being from another planet, as far as I'm concerned. It's about the energy that they exude. And maybe it's because I've not met the right guy, but I met Martha and she has that, and it doesn't matter what body it comes in, that's what I fell in love with. I fell in love with.
Accordingly, straight out of the gate, there he goes, identifying his grandiosity. The first black man. I'm important. But also a pity play and exhibiting his victimhood. It's not easy being the first black man marrying into the European royal family. There is no European royal family. He seems to think that Europe is a country in its own right, which demonstrates, of course, the haughty dismissiveness of this individual who has failed to actually understand the royal family that he is marrying into. But of course, he knows everything, for he is Durek Verrett, brilliant mind and shaman extraordinaire. And therefore, as is common with certain narcissists, they immediately make a fool of themselves with their grandiosity. He then explains, I thought maybe I'm going to end up with a man, but I decided that I'm soul sexual. Sorry, what? First of all, he's demonstrating the sexual fluidity of the narcissist by the fact that he claims to be bisexual. He, of course, is perfectly entitled to choose which of the two genders, two sexes, he has sex with. But, as I've explained, it is often the case with certain narcissists that they show this sexual fluidity because it isn't so much about the person, but the fact of what they represent and what can be got out of them using sex. And here we see the deluded grandiosity where he decides that he's soul sexual. Yeah, which is the kind of made-up nonsense that he's become infamous for. And he explains that he's attracted to the soul of the person. I don't see myself as straight or gay. No, it doesn't matter if it's a male or a female, or it could be another being from another planet, so he's an alien fucker as well, as far as I'm concerned. It's about the energy that they exude. And maybe it's because I've not met the right guy, but I met Martha, and she has that. Well, what he's really saying is this. I was a single gay dude, and then somebody came along with a title, access to fame and money, and basically my narcissism went, hold being gay, go after her, but call it being soul sexual. That's what's really happened. Naturally, he's an unaware narcissist, so he has not sat there and thought to himself, right, I know I'm actually gay, but I'll go with this woman in order to get what I need in terms of the prime aims. He doesn't have that level of consciousness about his narcissism. But that's what's gone on. In essence, and he gives the game away in the language that he uses, he is a gay man. That's his choice, nothing wrong with that. But it's nothing about souls. That's just the grandiose illusion that is fed to him by his narcissism. And it's all about what Martha represented. In the same way that this one's wife's narcissism targeted the Prince of Pink Pancakes, Durek Verrett's narcissism targeted Princess Martha because she's a kind, albeit rather bonkers soul. His narcissism recognised that she could easily be controlled as a consequence of the word salad and bollocks that he preaches and speaks, but also that he would benefit in terms of access to a significant fuel matrix by being involved with her, and moreover, it would grant him prominence, a residual benefit, a platform from which to speak, residual benefit, access to royalty, prestige and status, and hierarchy, which narcissists love, and also money, which is a further residual benefit. Accordingly, when asked why is he attracted to this person, he spouts this nonsense about being soul sexual and he's attracted to the energy and to the soul. No, he's not. He's actually attracted to what she can do for him. And it's called the prime aims because he is a narcissist. Naturally, his narcissism causes him to believe that he's in love, so he states, that's what I fell in love with. I fell in love with her. The reality is, it's got nothing to do with love, because narcissists can't love. They only create an artifice in that regard. More bullshit from Durek Verrett, this time talking about the fact that he is soul sexual. Another made-up phrase that gets pumped into the mainstream and probably will end up being adopted by people that have blancmange for brains, who will now start going around stating that there is another type of preference, which is soul sexual, as the rest of us roll our eyes and think about driving a rusty meat hook into their malformed cranium. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.